Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is the Our Turf Football Podcast. I am Dana. We have Kate. We have Lisa. We all forgot to find out whether or not Sonia was going. So Sonia might show up. I don't know. She might have to work. I can't remember. what we had all decided. Welcome, everyone. It has been an eventful week since the last time we were here for the show. And so I am super excited to get started tonight. We have coaches without jobs. We have Kate being Nostradamus. I'm telling you, Kate, I don't know how many times I've retweeted. Kate told you. Kate told you. Kate told you last week. It's going to be so good. All right.
We're done.
I don't think we're done either. All right, everyone. Well, before we get started, let's go ahead and thank our sponsor, Donkey's Place Cheesesteaks. They've been our sponsors for 5 years. And like I say every week, they are the reason you don't get commercials during our show. So they have 3 locations, all in New Jersey. They have Medford, Mount Holly, and Camden. And then, of course, you can go to goldbelly.com and look up Donkey's Place Cheesesteaks, and they will send them directly to your home. Huge thank you to them. So if you guys see them on social media, if you see when we retweet them, give them a shout. Tell them thank you for no commercials. All right. Can I just say, it's my turn. Last week, you two back and forth all about your college. My Montana State Bobcats won the national championship last night, you guys.
Good game.
I was so impressed, Lisa, on how many national level NFL media members were like, that was the best football game, best college game of the year. It was so good. And I'm like, they're watching that. Like, it's just, we are a smaller conference. I understand that, but it was huge for us. Montana State has been to the national championship 3 times in the last 5 years. This was their 3rd time. They did not win it. And so last night to win it, after they blocked it, God love defense. And then it was just great. And then I was so excited. They made the Today Show this morning. I was super excited about that too. So as this is my college, I want to say, yay, Montana State. Congratulations to my Bobcats. It was so exciting. The first time they won the national championship since 1984. So it's been a minute.
I was a senior in high school. Year I graduated.
Oh, there you go. So now they have a national championship to go with that. Yeah, so I'm going to wear my Montana State shirt with pride today. My family was ecstatic. Our college friends were ecstatic. It was just so fun. And I'm not a huge college ball. I will tell you, I looked at my husband on the point last night. I was like, this is why I don't like college football. It's just so unprofessional. And he just busted out laughing. He said, what are they doing? What are they doing? He's like, they're playing college ball. It's like, it was a little bit. But yeah, so it was very exciting. And I want to thank everyone who sent me all the kudos online. It was very, very exciting. So yay. All right. But this is not the college show. This is the
tomorrow.
NFL show. That is tomorrow. The college show is tomorrow. But a lot has happened. We had 7 coaches fired, but a couple of them were fired prior, but we have 7 vacancies coaching wise right now. We have a list of about 8 to 10 candidates that really seem to be getting everyone's attention. It was not surprising for most of them. It might have been surprising for the Arizona Cardinals. He's head coach. But yeah, Lisa, let's start with you because I know I'm going to talk to Kate about a couple of these, but I want to start with you. Of the 7, so we have the Raiders, the Titans, the Browns, the Cardinals, Ravens as of today, Giants, and the Falcons. Looking at any surprises? Did you think that these were the coaches that were going to go? Did she freeze? Lisa froze. All right, Kate, we'll go to
has
you.
The best expression on her face.
Oh, are you back?
I'm back. Wow, that was a foop. Somebody said no. I did it. I saw all of you went poop. I'm like, hold on. No,
I gotta address this really quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I said they did talk about college ball still. So Sue says the last week Lisa and Kate couldn't talk about college, but here you go. Yes, because mine won.
We let her.
Won.
I listened. I said it's a great game. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I absolutely did. I mean, Montana State tried to give it away at the end. God help them. But
as we always do.
But I love those games where you feel the momentum shift. Holy smokes. I mean,
and that little
great.
State, that little Illinois State, they are an upstart kind of a team.
They are. Ooh.
All right. So back to the coaching. Lisa, were you surprised by any of these coaches?
No. I don't think anybody surprised me. I'm still waiting for the boom. I still waiting for that boom, especially now that Harbaugh is gone, because now they're saying now you might see a couple others that might go. The only one, if I had to pick, and you said, Lisa, just pick, I would say Rasheem Morris. I kind of figured with their quarterback being out and he won the last 4 games pretty strong. I mean, I don't know why they pulled the trigger on him. I mean, he lost his quarterback for crying out loud. So I don't know. So I think he would, but I mean, I guess basically this is his second stint and no playoff appearances, they were saying. So they kind of broke it down a little bit. And so I would say as any of them, I was just kind of maybe surprised that the Falcons let him go so quick.
I was too. That was not one I thought would go. I thought they'd give him one more year, hopefully get Penix fully healthy for a whole year. Right. I agree. Kate, you called this. You called it about, you said maybe Kevin Stefanski, but then you're like, but I think Harbaugh's going to go. You were right on both accounts. Tell me what you saw there, that you just had an inkling that they were not going to be there.
And I don't know how safe Mike Tomlin is, although by the skin of their teeth, the Steelers got into the playoffs. If they go one and done, keep an eye out. And I don't know how safe Zach Taylor is in Cincinnati.
They said he has one more year. They said he say that.
This division was won by a team with 9 wins, and that's not okay. This division was supposed to be the most competitive one in the AFC. The Bills were supposed to run away with the East, and you know what I mean? Like it was, and we were the worst division in football. Mediocrity is not okay. And while I'm a big fan of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I'm also a fan of you can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And Harbaugh got that team to the Super Bowl in 2012, ladies.
Yeah.
And has won nothing but the division since. Haven't won a playoff game with Lamar Jackson. I know that team has had health issues, but it's a far better roster than they're dealing with in Atlanta, for example. I still don't know why Morris is gone. I just looked at this year, and I looked at the young quarterbacks that are coming in, with Burrow, even Lamar. Pittsburgh's going to have to make a move. Aaron Rodgers didn't have, much more life in him. We've got Shador, and word on the street is we're going to try to make a move to get a quarterback this year. You need to change something up. And I feel like Pittsburgh and Baltimore are both teams where the owners expect better. It's not just enough to win or even win the division. You've got to be better. And Harbaugh wasn't getting it done. I guess the where I struggle now is with Stefanski and him both getting fired this week. They immediately join like Brian Flores at the top of the list of people that he's going to get. They're both going to get other jobs. And I don't think either of them were fired because they were bad coaches. I just think what they're doing wasn't working where they were, and the team wanted to make a change, and that was the way they decided to make those changes. So
there's an interesting concept that's out there, and I know you guys all know this, but what's interesting is that you're right. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But if it's stale, throw it out. And I think that to a certain extent, you can only keep repeating the same thing over and over. Yes, it's Tomlin in a nutshell, right? He is winning, but not winning.
He's the Kirk Cousins of head coaches.
He's
big.
Right. And so I think that at some point you have to be like, why can't we get over this hump? And you've got to start at the top then at that point. You can't just keep changing coordinators. You can't just keep doing that. And I think that what happened, especially in Baltimore, is they're like, you know what, 18 years is a long time. You probably need a new challenge and we need new direction. And I respect that to a certain extent. You know what I mean? I really, really do. I was surprised about Morris. I think Morris is also going to be at the top of that list of place people that are going to have a job, whether it be a coordinator or it be another head coach. My husband and I were chatting about this earlier, and he asked me, he said, well, if you fire a head coach that turn around and immediately gets hired again by another team, did you make a mistake? No, I think it just goes back to needing to shake it up and, put it in, roll the dice and see what happens. And so it was really, really interesting to me. But you called it, and I wasn't surprised about that.
I don't know that head coaches are from a philosophical standpoint, any different than the conversations we have about quarterbacks
Fair.
that go to a second or third team,
Right.
and what they're saying and what the talent pool is just clicks. And these are, I like your stale analogy. It's just stale. Go somewhere else. John Harbaugh would be fabulous at a team that won 7 or less games this year.
Yeah.
To prove that he can still coach, to get a new team, would be thrilled with 9 wins. I can name 6 teams right now that would be thrilled with 9 wins next year, and then see what he can do if he can get them over the hump. But
yeah,
I'm surprised. I was texting Lisa earlier this week. I'm like, all of Cleveland radio wants Brian Flores. Talk to me.
Yep.
Talk to me. Because aside from his issues after they fired him and the legal stuff,
right,
I don't know that I loved him as a coach. And so I was trying to refresh my memory on how he was as a coach, because he came from New England, right? He's from the Belichick tree.
I think so.
And so he was the name. And then now, of course, today, in the however many minutes it's been since the Ravens announcement, half of Cleveland wants Harbaugh.
Yeah. Well, everybody does now. And that's funny, is because now will that change any ownership's mind? Will that change any outcomes now for coaches? Was there a team that hasn't made an official announcement yet that was kind of waiting maybe to see if Harbaugh would go or Mike would go? So
we
that
talked
kind
about that last week, Lisa.
We
You
did
said that last week. I give it 24 hours.
Yeah.
I think
like who else now?
Whoever gets fired in the next 24 hours, my prediction is that's a team who's going after Harbaugh.
Yeah. Well, and we did, because I also think, wasn't it you, Dana, that said, wouldn't it be a gas if he went to the Raiders? Same division is his brother. I mean, that'd be great for the NFL. They'd love that.
Although they don't, his coaching style and Raiders don't really seem to go together, but you never know. It would be just a lot of fun.
The Raiders coaching style, it's not the coaching style that they're saying, it's ownership. I mean, they're pointing fingers down here at Miami at ownership. They're pointing fingers in Cleveland at ownership. There are long-term fans that say, you know what, until ownership changes, you're going to be the same team you always have been.
Yep.
Who doesn't matter who coaches this team.
Right.
So,
well, let's talk just a little bit about some of the top candidates that are out there right now. Obviously, we've talked about Harbaugh a lot. He will be a coach at another team without question. They also talk about Stefanski will be hired almost immediately, probably as a coach. I love that people can look at him, and this is not meant as a dig toward the Browns in any way, but outside of the Browns. How was he a coach? You know what I mean? He was coach of the year, for God's sake. And so
he's
getting that respect there. And I think that that's great. A couple of the other ones, we talked about Brian Flores. I fully expect someone to hire Brian Flores also. He is just so high on the tree. Vance Joseph has gotten a lot of looks. A lot of interviews are coming up for him. We also have Chris Shula. He's the Rams and defensive coordinator. Makes sense. Usually out of the McVay tree is pretty popular also. We also have Cliff Kingsbury. So that was an interesting situation that happened in Washington. So basically, Cliff Kingsbury, he was the offensive coordinator for the Commanders, and they mutually agreed to part ways. I think Dan Quinn says, I don't want to fire you, but you can't stay. And so they knew that there was a problem, which again, Daniels was hurt. I'm a little surprised, but obviously something in the scheme was not working for him and the ownership. And so they decided to mutually part ways so he can pursue other opportunities. I don't know how many other opportunities, but he's getting interviews. So we'll see how what happens there. Jesse Minton, he's the Chargers defensive coordinator. He has gotten a few looks. Clint Kubiak, the Seattle offensive coordinator, has gotten a few looks and a few interviews. We'll see what happens there. And then is it Jeff? It's Hafley, I think. Jeff Hafley, the Green Bay defensive coordinator. So there's going to be a lot of names out there. We're going to see repeated. Even the Seahawks defensive coordinator, Aiden Dirty, is now getting a head coaching interview too. And so that's what happens, right? They see the success of some of these young coordinators that come out. They want to replicate that. It doesn't always work. And some of these guys need to sit for another year or two. So we'll see what happens, but it's going to be interesting. But I really think, and let me know if you guys agree, it's going to be Morris, Stefanski, and Harbaugh. They are not going to be unemployed for long unless they want to be.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
It's just I think when you look at it, because you've got, there's situations, and as a hardball coach, if Tomlin gets or Stefanski, you're going to have options, right? When you think that you're going to say, okay, look, let me look at my options. The Raiders option isn't an option. You look at that front office, you look at, the only thing that would be attractive, you got the number 1 pick and Mendoza's coming.
But you also have Tom Brady sitting on your shoulder. So here's my question.
True
that.
True that.
I think if I were to look at this list of teams that need head coaches, the Ravens, I think, immediately stands out as probably the most desirable, just because you have your quarterback, you have so much depth there. I have seen on a lot of lists, they list the Raiders as the second most desirable, and that baffles me. They have 3 players. They have Jonty, Bowers, and Max Crosby, maybe. So that, I don't know. Go ahead, Kate.
I like the Giants.
I do too.
I like the Giants. You've got a quarterback in Jackson Dart, and you don't have management that is as outwardly irritating as some of the other.
So would Harbaugh say, look, I'm done with AFC? Maybe give the NFC and give the NFC a shot. I've been in the AFC for 19 years. However year I'm ready to go. Maybe I'll try a different division. I got a quarterback. I got a big old fullback with a bulldog head. So
love it. All right, let's get to some of these comments because there's actually a couple questions in here. So let's go ahead. So CP says Atlanta fired Morris because they're a terrible organization. They are an interesting organization.
We talked about that.
He's one that I fully believe he'll be employed next year. I don't know if it'll be as a head coach.
Oh, I don't either.
I don't know if it'll be like Cliff Kingsbury and Vance Joseph, where he's going to go back to being a coordinator again. Because
could be.
You know what I mean? But I don't think Harbaugh and Stefanski will be anything but head coaches.
Yeah. Kristen says, is there a better replacement? It seems like there's only so many good enough candidates out there. And I think she was talking about Morris because they're right under that comments. Well, we listed off some. I think that's going to be interesting. Sue says, Tomlin and McDermott are both stale, in my opinion, even though they're in the playoffs. I don't disagree. Darcy confirmed, yes, that Flores is from the Belichick tree. Thank you, Darcy. Yeah, he is. Darcy says, I like Flores as a DC, though I'm sure we'll get head coaching opportunities instead. I don't know. He might want to go back and be a DC and be, you know what? Let me just focus on this for a bit. CP thinks that Stefanski and Harbaugh will have their pick of teams.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I think so too.
Coach says, if my New York Giants don't get Harbaugh, I'm okay with the Broncos defensive coordinator. And that
Vance Joseph.
I think
Vance Joseph has been a head coach, and he got fired. So
yeah, but he does have that experience, and sometimes that's beneficial.
That's what I'm saying. You're 2 coaches that have grown up. I mean, when you talk to the people about Flores, and Jim Nagy was a big Flores guy. Oh my God, I sat at the Senior Bowl when he came on board. He was ecstatic. And he was just like, the Dolphins finally, made a great move. And when they let him go, he just looked at me at the Senior Bowl and he goes, I don't know what's going on with your organization, Lisa. He said, but that was the worst decision they've ever made.
Yeah.
So
CP thinks that Harbaugh would be great in New York. I think so
I do too.
And this one is for you. This one's for you, Kate. Who do you want? Kristen wants to know who you want for Cleveland.
I love Joe Brady, who's the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills.
Oh,
I'm surprised McDermott isn't on more people's list to go. Like if the Bills go out early in the playoffs, he needs to go. But I just love what he's done with Josh over the years. And we've got Shador. And so if they're serious, if the Browns don't make a move to get Mendoza or I mean, there's a number of quarterbacks that are coming out. We have Marcel Reed or some of these other guys. If they decide to just ride with Shador, that's going to be part of the coaching interviews. Can you come up with a scheme that'll use Shador standards and make him right? Or do you want to start over with a new quarterback and how whatever Jimmy wants to do is what we're going to do. The memes have started with Deion Sanders, and I want to hate that idea. I want to hate it, but I can't. But I don't know. I know he and Shador have a great relationship, but I don't know that Shador wants him to be coaching him now. That I feel like they've made a split. He's like, all right, Dad, love you, mean it. I'm gonna go do me now.
Yeah.
But I want somebody with an offensive mind. we've got Jim Schwartz to run our defense, and y'all need to stay away from him. You're not allowed to interview him. He cannot go be coach somewhere else. When people say he was a lousy head coach, I just say yes and go on, because I don't want to say the things that we're going to say about Kingsbury and Vance, and that is, you know what, but and Brian Flores, that was years ago. They've learned, they've grown, they've made changes to give them another shot. They're at least not coming in cold to the job, right?
For sure.
I don't want Jim Schwartz going anywhere. I think he loves working with Miles in the defense. We need somebody offensive minded, and I'm never going to get Kubiak out of Seattle. And if I did, I feel like, depending on how well he and his dad get along and how much they talk, Gary will tell him to stay away from Cleveland with the 10-foot pole.
They might, because
he will tell him, don't come here. Joe Brady might come here. Same weather a day earlier. So many similarities in Shador's abilities. If he could mold him into doing some of the good things that Josh Allen does, that's who I would love to see here in Cleveland.
Okay. So Darcy then said the Raiders are still playing like, I think 5 coaches. I think they are too.
It's 4.
You're right. But is it 4?
Makes the point.
New York coaches DC Morris. I think that would be good. And CP says they already feels bad for the next Raiders coach.
You're kidding. I feel sorry for Mendoza.
Yeah. Here's the interesting thing to me with the Raiders. Just because someone, and I said this, you guys, just because someone is a great football player does not mean they are a great GM or owner. We just need to look at John Elway to realize that, right? And so here's the thing. I don't know why the assumption is, just give the team to Brady. He'll fix it. I don't get that. I don't get it. I think it makes more sense that Troy Aikman is helping the Dolphins, because he's been a commentator for so long and seen kind of the business aspect of it than Brady. But, what do I know? Everyone just thinks I hate quarterbacks. Sue says, I also think the Giants would be a great place for a new coach with the quarterback already there. Yes. All right. And she says that you can have Joe Brady. That's fine.
Oh, she's ready to go. They're ready to move on. They're going to blow things up. Buffalo fans are going to, they want to win the Super Bowl. I mean, that was, their goal. They want to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. All right. So then Darcy says Atlanta and Baltimore are the best ones out there, have a division each that's winnable and the best chances of being successful. Giants, their GM needs to go, and Vegas and the Titans are the worst ones. I'm not so sure. I think the Titans have their quarterback. I liked that was when I was in Nashville for the Seahawks Titans game, and there's a lot of good pieces there. I think that was really interesting. Let's see. Okay, so let's go ahead. That is true. Coach just says John Lynch is looking good though, to counter my point. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it shouldn't be an assumption that just because they were a good player doesn't mean that they'll necessarily be good. So all right, so let's go ahead and move on to the playoffs this weekend. All right, so week 18, we had a couple of good games. We talked about them last week. We said there were a couple of games that were really important and how they turned out. Obviously, that Panthers-Buccaneers game, it was not quite the game I thought we were going to get, but it was also insanely raining. So we're trying to give them a little bit. The Panthers ended up losing that game, but winning the division thanks to the Atlanta Falcons. So tiebreakers matter, people. That's an interesting one. The next game was the Seahawks 49ers game. Also a very interesting game. Not quite what we thought it was going to be. I thought it would be higher scoring than it was. It was 13-3 Seattle, which then clinched Seattle the NFC West and the number 1 overall seed in the NFC. And then the other game was the Sunday night game that turned out really to be a very good game. It was the Ravens and the Steelers, 24-26. The Steelers managed to slink that out at the very end, thanks to a very sad kicker. I know, Lisa, you were the first person I thought of.
Both of them. But Lisa, you have to be grateful, or it would have gone to overtime.
Yeah.
If he hit the extra point and he hit the field goal, it was
a comedy.
It was one of those games where you had one game for 3 quarters and like 10 minutes. And then in the last 5 minutes was a completely different game.
Yeah. It was crazy.
But it's just bizarre because you've got 67-yard bomb field goals being made. And this kid is from 30-something.
That poor kid afterwards, he was like, I knew the minute it left my foot, it wasn't going in. And I'm like, you just know when you hit it wrong, right? And so, I felt terrible for him. There was this nice thing though. It says the last thing we will see of John Harbaugh going off the field as the Ravens head coach is his arm around that kicker consoling him. And I think that kind of speaks to who he is. So yeah, Sue, we felt bad for the kid too. We really, really did.
Yeah, I did too. I did too.
See, CP has an interesting question. If the Steelers had lost, would Tomlin still be there?
Nobody knows.
I think that game decided the coaching career for both of them.
Yeah.
I think you're right. If it had gone the other way, I think Tomlin would have been let go. I really do. And I don't know if the Steelers lose their first game, I don't know that he's safe.
Mm-hmm. I don't either.
Yeah.
I think it's 50-50. That's what everybody's saying. It's like 50-50. Really he said, and it's a thing where they'll sit down, Adam Schefter said, and decide after everything. Right now, nothing's been decided. Nothing's even being talked about. So it's, it's all right now is all smoke. Everybody's just trying to take a guess.
Yeah. Ownership for the Steelers is very much like Bisciotti and the group that runs the Ravens. They are consistent. They are loyal. They will stick with you. But once you get into 15, 20 years, you got to do something. Today's fans want more than what they're getting. And they have been very vocal in Pittsburgh. And now that they've made the playoffs, the fans are like, all right, win another one, win another one. And I think they're still 50-50.
So Darcy brought up a good point. It says the NFL looked how horrible Brad Allen officiated the Carolina-Tampa game. That was so bad. It was so bad. And decided let's reward him with Buffalo Jacksonville for a playoff game. Yeah, that one was that was not great officiating. That was for sure. And then Peter, Peter, says, I think Tomlin could still be gone if they have a poor showing. I agree. I think that
most of fans' consensus is that he's gonna because I think like Baltimore, I think the fans of the Steelers are ready to move on. I really do. I think it's just a thing that there's a good organization that they stick with. They're very loyal, which you don't see anymore. But what did you take away? But what did you take away from Carly Ursay's?
That presser? Was interesting.
There's I'm getting 50-50. People are saying, oh my God, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I found her absolutely to know what she was talking about. I did too. She understands, and she said it right out. If Daniel Jones was still the quarterback, they'd be in the playoffs. She absolutely believes that. And she basically also pulled down the gauntlet and said, this is what we're going to expect next year. And if they don't have a winning year, they're gone.
Yeah.
Oh, that coach is starting next season in the hot seat. She put him on there yesterday.
Yeah. I get a little tired of people ragging on her. I hear a lot of stuff about like her outfits and how kind of wacky she is. I get so pissed at that. It's like, you know what? Grow up.
She was raised by Jim Irsay. That's what I like about her.
And she was raised by her father. Do you know who her father is? Come on.
Yes.
But here's the thing. I agree with you, Lisa. I thought what she said, she's like, all right, we're going to give you your quarterback got hurt excuse this year. You're getting the get out of jail free card, but that's it. And I don't disagree that if Daniel Jones had stayed healthy, that we would.
I don't either. I think they would have made the playoffs. I don't know if they would have gone far because, like I said, I'm still think they're still putting stuff together. But I absolutely they literally needed to win like only 2 games.
Yeah,
and they tried like hell. Yeah, I personally think they should have probably stayed with Leonard after watching him play and the way he played.
Yeah. I'm with you. All right. So let's go ahead and look at the upcoming games. So wild card weekend. So it is the Broncos and the Seahawks that have the bye. So they will not be playing this weekend. So the Saturday games, we have the Rams and the Panthers, and then the Packers at the Bears. Classic game. I mean, this will be the third time they're playing
playoff games. I hate when you got to play someone 3 times a year. That is just.
I know Seattle's going to end up playing either the Niners or the Rams again. I guarantee it. Yeah. If not both of them, I mean, at some point, but yeah, that's crazy. So of those 2 games, you guys, let's go ahead and pick these games. So Rams at Panthers and then the Packers at the Bear. Lisa, who you got on Saturday?
I got the Rams. I think I just like I said, I have no faith in the Panthers.
The Panthers beat them earlier this year.
Already. I know, but I think we're in the playoffs. It's 0-0. It's different animal right now.
What about the Packers and the Bears, Kate?
Bears. But I'm aggravated by the CD in general. I'm aggravated by the process. We need to do a whole show on why this is this hot. We'll get there.
Yeah, that's an off-season show.
One of the later games,
I will tell you, I'll put this out there. Someone had really interesting. It's like if you get into the playoffs but have a losing record, you should lose your home game. It's like, oh, at least that'd be an interesting little twist. But at the same time, they won their division. If your division sucks and you're the least sucky,
winning your division gets you a home game, even if your opponent has 3 more wins than you.
I know, it's
or
crazy.
2 more wins. Like it's anyway.
Yeah. All right, so you're picking the Bears.
I just feel like they figured it out this year.
Yeah.
And Love's not 100%. He didn't play even when he comes back. I just feel like the Bears have figured it out.
Yep. All right. Well, lots of people sit here. Lots of people here agree with you. We have Rams and the Packers from Sue.
Ooh, Packers, huh, Sue?
Yeah, she thinks the Packers. Peter says he can't with the Bears. They're too inconsistent. I don't really disagree.
No, Peter, they're inconsistent for 3 quarters. The 4th quarter they play.
That's right. Darcy says the Rams and the Bears. All right. So Kristen says Bears for sure. All right. So let's look at the next game. The next games are on Sunday. So then we have the Bills, Jags, the Niners, Eagles, the Chargers, the Patriots, and the Texans and the Steelers. Lisa, I'm going to give you Bills and Jags. Who you got?
Whew, man, this Jag team's hard to figure out.
It is.
I mean, I feel like everybody's kind of downplaying them a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I feel like they have something to come out and prove. If I was a Bill fan, I'd be a little worried about this game.
Oh yeah.
To be very honest with you, because I think they're on a mission to prove, and I'm going to take the Jags.
Okay. All right. I love it. Okay, let's see. Sorry, I lost my little sheet here. Okay, and then we have Niners, Eagles. Kate,
it's in Philly. I'm taking the Eagles. I think the Niners have just gotten lucky, and that lucky streak is going to run out this weekend.
Yeah. Kristen added, I got to put this up here. God love her. The Rams will win at the very end. Yes, they'll look like crap the entire time. They'll win at the end. All right, Sue agrees about the Jags and the Eagles, so that's good. Kristen thinks the Bills are going to win in overtime. That's really good.
It wouldn't be surprised me. Like I said, it wouldn't be surprised me, but still.
Yeah, I just wouldn't. At home, I'd be picking them, but I can't pick against Sunshine at home.
Yeah.
Sunshine at home. And they're, like I said, they're a scrappy team. They're just one of that team that it just came out of nowhere.
So CP says the Eagles just handed off to Saquon. Yep, that's how you beat them. Let's just say that's how you beat the Niners. And they have even more injuries again this week. So,
oh my God.
All right.
And that'll be the excuse. The whole game, that's all we heard. There were no props. I mean, I sat there and listened to that commentating, and it about made me vomit. I mean, it's like, come on. We know they're hurt. We all know they're hurt. But can you say something good about Seahawks?
Mm-hmm.
No. You know, all they kept saying is how hurt the 49ers were.
And they weren't saying how hurt they were when they won 6 in a row.
No,
but sure, the minute they start to lose, the poor night. Don't get me started.
It's a lot of narratives the last couple of weeks that you could clearly hear from the announcing.
Oh, that was total bias. It was just ridiculous.
Say this too. I, as a Seahawks fan, we're used to being ignored. We're a small market. Okay, I get it. I'm used to it. It's not that big of a deal. But I have only heard one time, and I listen to football radio all day long. I watch NFL Network. I watch it all, right? Only one time did someone say, the Seahawks are the only team to have beaten 6 playoff teams. Oh, thank you for the kudos. Finally. Yeah.
We didn't get that.
Beaten 5. And then everyone else is like 2 and 3.
Yeah. You got when Seattle scored, they went right to the 49ers uniforms. How nice they were. You didn't even get any commentating about how they just ran the clock and ran 6 minutes off the clock and scored. Oh no, we went right to
uniforms.
Look at uniforms. It's like, oh my God, are you serious right now?
The black on the helmet didn't match the black on the jersey, and it drove me insane. Anyway, that's my girl thing. Okay, so Peter says the Hawks stole the Niners' soul. They will lose. I kind of agree.
I think so. I do too.
Yeah, Kristen. All right. Yeah. So then, so back to the night games. So then we have the Chargers and the Patriots and the Texans and the Steelers. I have some pretty strong opinions on these ones, but what do you think? I'm going to give you the Patriots game. Kate, what do you think? Patriots, Chargers.
Patriots. I love me some Mike Vrabel. I wish we'd have fired Kevin Stefanski a year ago so I could have had Mike Vrabel. We're always a year behind. We brought our team back a year before Peyton. I mean, it's just, or the year after Peyton. I'm always missing it. I don't know what's going on in New England. I don't know what's going on in the water. And frankly, half my fantasy football team were on the Chargers, and they underwhelmed, and I came in second, and I'm not happy. So I put the Maloik on them, and I'm going Patriots. I don't hate them as much as I did when Belichick and Brady are there. I really
got humbled.
I really want to hate Drake May, and I can't.
But they still have a great ownership in front office. It drives me crazy.
But I don't get that cocky vibe that I used to get that made me just want to smack them.
No. They were humbled for sure for a couple of years there.
They're real likable now. We'll see how long that lasts.
Lisa, what do you think about the Texans and the Steelers?
Whew, I'm going to go Texans. I just think the Texans their defense is going to be too much for the Steelers.
Agreed.
So I think the Texans are going to take it. I think it'll probably be close. But I think the Texans are going to squeak this one out.
Drove me crazy that I kept hearing today on the radio and on television. They're like, oh, well, the Steelers, they squeak it out, but they're getting DK back. They're getting DK back. Go look at DK's stats throughout the year. He's not going to be your savior. The whole team is going to have to play a lot better to beat them. I mean, I think the Seahawks might be the number one DVOA team in Indy. I think right now. But that Texans defense is insane. And they're going to come over and after Rodgers all game long, and he's just going to slide so no one hits him. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. A couple of comments we got here. Sue says the Pats in Houston. Then we have Darcy says the Eagles are the only repeat division winner this year, a division that hasn't seen a different division winner in 21 years, or a repeat. All 7 other divisions have a different winner. It's so true. Yeah. It is an interesting year. We've been talking about that all year long. CP thinks the Chargers are going to shock the world. The better defense wins.
Listen, you never know. It's 0-0.
Yeah.
It's, possible. Any given Sunday or Saturday, right?
Especially in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Darcy says Pats, Houston, Bills, and Niners.
Ooh, damn, Darcy.
I don't see the Niners beating there.
I don't.
And then Kristen says, I hope the Chargers win. I don't know. It would be evil Harbaugh. It can be a lot of fun. We'll see what happens there. I think this is going, what I like about the playoffs this year is it kind of seems like a Yahtzee roll, right? Like you don't really know how it's going to, there's no assumptions to be made. Oh yeah, they're in, because all these teams, every single one of them have shown a weakness. They have shown a liability that can be exploited. And I think that is what is the most interesting part about the playoffs this year and what's going to make it the most fun. And so we don't have any of those kind of kingpins in there to just take over. And so I think that it's going to make it a lot more fun to watch. So any closing thoughts about Wild Card Weekend, Lisa?
No, I think we're on the Tomlin watch. I think that's what it's going to be kind of notorious for. I think it's going to be a lot of talk of that game. All we're going to hear from commentators is this it, the final hurrah? So I think it's going to be the Mike Tomlin watch.
See what happens. Kate, what about you?
And Sean McDermott. I think they both have things they need to prove by winning a playoff game this weekend.
I do too. Interesting. All right. Well, everybody, we will be back next Tuesday to talk about what happens during Wild Card Weekend and to see if Tomlin or McDermott or if anyone else manages to get fired between now and then. So we hope you join us same time, same place, right here on YouTube at 8 p.m. Eastern time every Tuesday. We'll see you next week, guys.